Here's something that I came across recently that I thought was pretty interesting that I would share. This really applies when you're outputting user-generated content to the screen, and users have the ability to add target equals blank to links. So what happens is this. So say a user generated these links just to link to another page within a site. When you click the link and you open up, you get a new tab, no big deal. But if you click back to the original tab, it's been redirected to any URL that the user deems worthy of redirecting to. And the code that did that, it's just right here. That's just a simple link to this security link page and just target equals blank. And I'll show you what the security link page is doing in a second. But if we look back at the original page and we click the second link, you can see this one has a rel no opener on it. If we click that link, we'll go to this other page that's trying to do the redirection, but it doesn't do it because we have the rel no opener. And if we go back to the original page, it's fine, there's no issues. So basically what happens is when you open a link through target equals blank, the opening page then has access to the opener method on the original page. So basically this new page has access to the page that just opened it, and you can say, hey, page just opened it, set your location to this page. So in this case, sending to google.com doesn't make a lot of sense. But if it was an instance where they were on a site, like say for instance, if they were on Facebook and they were generating content and the link didn't have rel no opener, they could take you to the new link on the old site, which is Facebook. They could create a clone of Facebook and re-ask you for your username and password. You enter that, boom, they have a username and password. It's party time for them. So something to be aware of if you're working with user-generated content. It's important to make sure this rel no opener is present on any of the links that you generate. That takes care of almost all the scenarios. You can see some of these older browsers don't support this, and there are workarounds for this. So if you're doing this, it's worth taking a look at some of the workarounds. There's some JavaScript you can put in some of your code to resolve this. But rel no opener gets you home on 92% of use cases. Tip: if you deal a lot with submitting forms through JavaScript and you need to submit the same data over and over for testing, if you go into your dev tools and you go into network and you do your submission, in our case, once we type in a number here, that submits the form. So we've called update exposure data with this new value, and it gets saved in the database. So if we want to replay this and do it again without actually typing 54 back in or clearing it out and dealing with fallout from that, you can right click here and say replay XHR. Click that, and it just submitted the exact same data as the request above down here without having to do anything back up here in the form. I found this very useful for a lot of the JavaScript work that we're doing these days. It's super easy to right click and replay that and know it's exactly the same and get those results down here immediately. So hope this helps. I like to do when I'm watching videos, especially tutorial videos, I like to turn the speed up to 1.5, 1.75 because it's shocking how fast you can get through videos and how fast you kind of acclimatize to the way they speak. So on YouTube and on Wistia videos, it's very easy to do. There's a speed setting, but I've run into this situation where I've run into these Brightcove hosted videos and there's nowhere to turn the speed up. So what I end up doing for these is inside of the inspector element, if you select the video tab, the video actual item, so it's the video, if you scroll over to console and you do $0 and hit enter to make sure you have it. So $0 within the console will print out the item you have selected from the elements panel. So what you can do is do $0 and then you could do playback rate, and I have a few typed in here, and you can turn it up to 1.75, hit enter, and it spits back 1.75. So now this video is going to be at 1.75, and you can see if it's too fast for you, you can drop down to 0.75. You kind of do whatever you want in here, and the video respects it. So this is a little trick if you run into a video player that doesn't have the speed setting on there and you want to speed it up or slow it down if you want to do that as well. So one tool I wanted to show that I use quite a bit for Prism, because on Prism the majority of their users are using IE, is BrowserStack. Now you're probably familiar with BrowserStack in that you can test out different browsers, and we do have a Blue River account. But one of the really cool things about BrowserStack that's pretty new is this ability to launch and run your local against their browsers. So in this instance, I'll show you, we support IE11 still. So we're going to launch an IE11 instance on Windows 10. We'll spin this up, and you can see over here on the left, we have this forced local, and you can tell it to resolve all your URLs through your network. And what that does is it does exactly what it says. It sends that URL through your own network, and you can see in the background here, we're actually loading the offline Blue River URL for Prism, and that is running on, that's my local environment running on IE11 using BrowserStack. So this is really slick in seeing how things are going to look in IE and doing some testing. This has saved me quite a few times. So another tool for your toolbox should you need to test against any browsers out there, BrowserStack has got you covered.